remember that at some point you had said that because your house is older, right? And what year was the house built?
Well, actually, my house was was built in 2000, but it's built from reclaimed things, and the style of it is from 1820. So it has no closets, and when we moved in, it had no electricity, had no heat. In 1997, we bought this historic property, and it had been part of an estate. After we discovered that 2 of the acres had been gifted to somebody else, and he thought he was going to be gifted the entire estate, but he was only gifted 2 acres. And the day after we purchased the other 58 acres of the 60-acre estate, he put a road through the property and started to build this house. And the house is designed like a Jeffersonian 1810, 1820. It's built around an 18-foot cube. It's pretty spectacular, but he never finished it. Yeah. Had no paint on the wall, no floors, no heat. They abandoned the house, essentially. And then they never finished it. And then they abandoned it. And so then we bought it from them.
And I remember you told us there were issues with electricity. There were not enough cables running through the house to have even enough lights. And I remember at one point you had said that you had thought that you could only do so much with the house because of the way the house was, right? And then you discovered through doing the lab, you discovered the potential of the house.
Right. Yeah. Well, I thought that the house was bigger than I was. Not that I'm bigger than the house. Yeah. Like the house had its own person. I mean, the house does have its own personality, but it's a pretty unusual house. You know, like I finally hung my ironing board up. I can't tell you how many times I bought hangers for the ironing board. The ironing board kind of floated around the house. Remember, we don't have closets, very many closets. And then finally, I bought a pretty ironing board hanger, and it probably only cost like $17. It wasn't expensive. Yeah. And now, just right before I zoomed on, I was tidying up a little from this room where I sew, and my ironing board was out, and I hung it up, and it put a smile on my face. Like, I know where my ironing board goes, and it makes me happy to put it there.
So what happens when you work in your home is that you learn to treat yourself better. I remember when you organized your closet in your master bedroom. I remember the joy you had because you organized the closet, and there were certain things that were out of reach. Didn't you get a step stool or something like that?
Never occurred to me. It's 15 years, never occurred to me to get a step stool. I had this really high shelf. And not only that, because the house has really high ceilings, we put a second shelf above the first. We never had enough room in our closet. It's, teeny little closet. We never had enough room in our closet, besides the fact that I was keeping things that I had no business keeping. I really did have one of those closets that you open the door and stuff fell on you. And I really, really, really did. And just getting a step stool and then putting the second shelf, which doubled our storage space.
It's easier, right? And when you make your life easier that way, you start to see that life is easier in every way.
Right.